Welcome to Next Play.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Next Play. We have rugby player Ariana Ramsey with us, our first rugby player, so I'm pumped to hear about this one. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me. I'm really excited.
Us too. It is our first rugby. In fact, this morning, Owen and I were talking about how badass rugby is and that we don't know enough about it. So, anyway, we're happy to have you on to talk about the mental side of the game. I do want to start with letting our listeners know a little bit about you and your accolades. So please bear with me on reading all of them because you have a long list. So you were named one of Dartmouth's greatest 100 athletes of all time. That's super cool. Won the Kenneth Archibald Award at Dartmouth for athletic achievement. Mm-hmm. 3-time NIRA, for those of you who don't know, that's National Intercollegiate Rugby Association champion. That's amazing. MVP and team captain of Dartmouth Rugby 2022 season. And then, of course, a 2-time Olympian and bronze medalist 2022 and 2024. Is that right? Are those the 2 years? Oh, because of
2021.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, wait, how could that be? Okay, got it. Because of COVID, it was off. Well, quite a long list of achievements. So, congratulations on that. How old are you, by the way? You're young.
I am 25.
Oh my God! Look at all that. By 25, I can't say the same level. Go ahead, O.
I'll just dive into some of the questions. I don't know anyone who played rugby. And I would say it's not a very popular sport around us. So, what made you get into rugby? How was that path for you growing up?
It was actually pretty random. There's not a lot of rugby teams in the U.S. period, especially Pennsylvania, where I'm from. But there was this one coach who had a daughter who played rugby. So he wanted a team for her. So he basically came to my high school and recruited a bunch of girls, and he used our high school field to practice and make this team. So I just tried it out one day with my best friend, and we just had so much fun. We just kept going back. And at the time I was running track, so I was not really in love with track. I felt like it was super just mundane. I missed the team aspect coming from being a competitive cheerleader. So once rugby came around, I was like, oh, this is fun. And then I found out I could go to college for it. And I was like, I would definitely do this. So I just kept playing and traveling to play and getting scouted. And that's kind of how I ended up getting scouted by USA.
Yeah, so just a natural athlete, obviously. Go ahead, Owen.
Yeah, what is the recruiting process like for a rugby player? Is it similar to other sports where it's mostly junior, senior year of high school, or is it a little different?
Yeah, it's mainly you can get scouted as early as possible. You just basically have to pretty much play at these. It's some major competitions that you play at, and that's where coaches go to scout, like NAI, Utah Sevens. That's one of them. And then if you play internationally, they start to realize who made those teams and watch you play from there. So I think coaches are scouting all the time. And the good thing about rugby is that it's pretty small. So it's like a tight knit community. So if you know someone's good, a coach is going to hear about it. So it's just play your best and hopefully you stand out.
Well, I feel when I think of rugby, I think of mental toughness right out of the gates. To me, it seems like a very mentally exhausting sport,
For sure.
and having to be tough in that way. When did you have that awareness of, okay, I need to build this mental toughness? Because I know you work with the sports psychologist. So at what point did you say, listen, I need to build that skill as well?
So when you're in high school, I wasn't getting that physical contact as much as I do now. Obviously at this level it's completely different. So back then I was just running through people. They weren't making their tackles. Nobody really was hitting each other for real. So then I got to the USA camps, and I had to play against the senior girls. And that's when you're playing against girls who are, I'm only 5'3". These girls are 5'9", 5'7". And I'm just this is scary. I have to full tackle these giant girls. So that's where I think it started to once I got to the USA level, it was just wow, this is serious. This is real. You can get hurt at any time, but you still have to go out there and tackle these giant girls, all shapes and sizes.
So
I
when
think it's
fear
just
came in, like the awareness of fear woke up
yeah.
that mental side. Okay.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure. And
Yeah.
like when you're scared on the field, it can cause injury, which happened to me a lot when I first started playing. Like me being like super startled, like really got me hurt. Like I would put my head in places it wasn't supposed to be because I'm not like paying attention and I'm not focused. I tore my ACL just be like out of straight fear and nervousness of like someone's about to like run around me and I had to like go chase them and I stepped too hard and tore my ACL. Like all of that came from like fear and nervousness and tension and stress. So as I like started playing, that was at the Tokyo Games even like I've only been playing nationally on the team for a year. I trained for a year and then made the Tokyo team. And I was not mentally prepared still, even after that. I mean, I guess back to your question, like when did I know? I guess when I started playing for USA and dealing with that has been a long, long journey for sure.
What kinds of things do you feel working, on the mental side? What part has helped, I guess, in that way of kind of overcoming the fear, just accepting, listen, like this is what I'm going to have to do if I want to compete at this level, is focus on the mind as well as the body.
I think has been multiple things. First, I early on in rugby, I tore my labrum at 16. So that was like really early, or 17, very early on in my career. Tore my labrum like it was nothing, got surgery, went right back into it with no thoughts about it. Like I was just like, I'm going back. Tore
Yeah.
my other shoulder.
Oh,
And
A lot of
then I
injuries.
was,
yeah.
yeah, that was a year later. I think I already had shoulder issues from cheer, but they just never, it didn't really matter that much because it was like cheer and now I actually need my shoulders. So I think those were like ongoing injuries. But anyways, but when I tore my second labrum, I started to think like, okay, this sport is pretty physical. You can get hurt. It's actually getting kind of bad. So then that's when I started to like really think about what I was doing and think about what I would have to go through in order to continue playing. And I'm like, had to think about my values. Like, who am I? Am I going to stop because I'm getting injured? Like obviously any sane person would be like, this sport is kind of crazy. But for me, like I really enjoyed the sport so much. I enjoyed the physicality. Surprising. I don't like the physicality as much anymore, but at the time I did. It was like the first time I could actually like, full on tackle someone when in most sports that I played, like there's no female sports where you can really like go all in. It was like
Right.
you always have to like pull back a little bit or no contact at all. So I felt like it was a something like for me because I used to wrestle too. And that was in middle school, like sixth, seventh, and eighth grade. And I really enjoyed it, but I had to wrestle boys at the time because there was no women. So it was always something that like I enjoyed being physical. So I knew I loved that about the sport. And I think once I sprained my other labrum, I'm kind of going off topic here, but I
No,
realized that
go. I like knowing. I like knowing. Give it to me.
I realized that I could like actually go to the Olympics for this sport and I loved it and I was passionate about it. So I was like, this is going to be my new goal. Like, um, I don't think the injuries stopped me from that, but I did realize that's when I really started to think mentally, like you are going to have to go through a lot going through the sport. So that's when I like realized it initially after I tore my labrum. So
Yeah.
then, like I said, that's when I got to college. And again, the game like took it to another level of more physicality. So I think going to college, I started to, again, just you kind of just build the mental toughness through doing it over and over again and realizing like how to get safer at tackling and how to just play the game safer and more confidently. I think that's what it really comes down to because when you first do it, it's very, very scary. But as you like move up in the level of play, you kind of just learn to play safer and you just naturally get mentally tougher.
That makes
Um,
sense for sure.
yeah. And then, yeah, I do use my sports psych, but that was more for, no, at the Tokyo Games, I needed him a lot because I started to get nervous about just the Olympics period and performing under pressure. And I was the youngest on my team, so I didn't really feel close to my teammates as I wanted to because they've been playing together for like 3 years. And then I come on and it's just me and I kind of felt just like just lonely a little bit, like nobody else was my age. So I had to speak with my sports psych through that, but most of it wasn't really rugby related. Um,
Got it. I see. It was it was like what you were
yeah.
experiencing from
Hmm.
like a connectivity with your teammates and where you're at, being
Yeah.
Yeah.
young and that level of pressure. Yeah.
I kind of have a
Right.
little question kind of going off that. Like you said, the Olympics, a lot of pressure. Like other than talking to a sports psychologist, are there any other things that you do to deal with that type of pressure? It seems like, you were the best in high school, the best in college. Like it's a lot of pressure on you. So
Mm,
what are some things other than talking to the sports psychologist that you kind of tap into to deal with that
man.
pressure?
Honestly, yeah, I'm starting to feel it again because I've like worked my way up on this team, and right now I'm probably one of the like three senior players on the team, and I'm like score the most tries right now. So I'm starting to re-feel that pressure all again. And I'm just I am going to have to go back to a sports psych because it's like sometimes I feel like, dang, like, do I have to perform every single day at practice, like all the time, be on my P's and Q's and never messing up because now like everyone's looking up to me and like I can set the tone of a whole practice if I'm having a bad day. So it's just kind of like it is a bit stressful because rugby is again hard, it's mentally tough, and every single day I'm not going to be able to show up at my best. So I need to like talk with my sports psychologist about how I'm supposed to deal with that mentally. And am I
Mhm.
really supposed to perform my best every single day at practice? Like that just seems like at some point I'm going to burn out. But in
Yeah, absolutely.
college, I had the same issues in college, but in college it seemed like again, it started to just happen naturally. Like I started to perform well naturally as I continued to focus on the little things I wanted to work on and just get better. So it's kind of like it all plays out naturally how it's supposed to. Like the better I get, the more consistent I'll be, the better I'll perform. And I won't even be thinking about like, well, do I have to perform well every single day? As long as I'm working towards like doing my best every single day, that's really all I can do. And that's what it comes down to. And it just makes me a better player because I have to focus on focus and making sure that I'm focused at every single practice. And that'll only in turn help me once I actually do get to the Olympics and there's so much noise and all of
Sure.
that stuff. So,
Yeah, controlling your controllables, I feel, is what you're talking about, really.
right.
And, we appreciate when athletes are so honest and vulnerable about what they're going through, because so many young athletes that look up to people like you, it's this idea that it's easy, right? That you're just naturally gifted and that it's easy. And so for you to be able to be authentic and say, no, not really, it can be
Yeah.
hard and the pressure is real and the noise is real, is part of why Owen and I do this podcast, is so that they can go, oh, that what I'm experiencing is something that the elite even experience,
Mhm.
and so it makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, and when you're talking about, the awareness that shows up, and from injury or another level, that speaks to me too, like that constant growth. Like obviously, if you perform well, your confidence goes up. And then how do you get that back when you're not performing well or when you're in your head?
Mm. Yeah.
That's a lot, I would say. Um,
Mhm.
to shoulder. So would you say there's a big difference between the collegiate level, obviously, and this level from a physicality standpoint too?
Yeah, for sure. There's definitely like I felt it from high school to college and then like a different level from college to the USA level. For
Sure.
sure. Yeah.
Because now flag football is a thing here, in our area anyway. I feel like it's like booming. So,
Yeah.
I
Mm.
mean, it's not the same, but there is this, like, when you talk about go all out, for young women, I feel like they're leaning into this sport in like a way of, in the rugby track, I would say. Anyway,
Hmm.
um, so
Hopefully.
I think you're inspiring people in that way,
I hope so.
for sure. And also, so when back to like the mental stuff, do you visualize or do breath work, anything like that as a regular practice?
Yes, I do visualize. Actually my fiance does it a lot more. Like every night before he's about to run, he visualizes, like takes time to journal and visualize, and he's very consistent about it. But for me, I definitely do visualize. It's sometimes hard because we don't always play in the same stadium, but I do like watch my film and my highlights over every night before a game. Um, and then In terms of like breath work, I don't do too much breath work. I just kind of like have a routine in the morning, like in the morning of the game day, where I listen to music and I stretch and I go through my like whole process. I actually am just now getting into like finding my process as well. Like I never
Cool.
really had a thing because our tournaments are like different every time. It's like you never know how much time you'll have in between games and like over time because we have like 3 games a day. So it's like I don't always have time to do my process every time. And sometimes the lunch schedule is different and the food setup is different and you gotta so it's never like the same process over and over. But yeah, the one thing I do is like scroll through my through my own highlights every night to
Love
make
All
it.
sure
right, yeah.
to see myself.
I have a question on that. What if you had to pinpoint one play? Like, do you have a one that's like that was my favorite play in your highlight reel?
Oh my gosh. Do I? Oh yeah, there's one any games against like New Zealand, which is the best team in the world, like when I'm scoring against them. Those are
Feels
pretty
good.
motivational. Yeah, because it's like when you catch the best team in the world slipping, it's just like it's the best feeling ever. So
Can only
um
imagine.
yeah, so
Yeah, right.
definitely
We
any
can only
games any games against New Zealand when I'm scoring, I need those moments. And then like just cool plays against like that are already like on my Instagram. I'm pretty much just scrolling through those. So yeah.
That's so smart. We have one of our exercises in our book is a highlight reel. And when we
Mm.
work with athletes one-on-one, that's something we teach them is just like, listen, make a highlight reel. Because when you see the way you know you can move, it automatically has you like in that swag,
Mhm.
going in.
Yes. It gets me
So,
excited. It does.
Yeah.
um, oh, and you always ask about pregame. He always asks if athletes are
Yeah, because
superstitious.
a lot of people, I feel like a lot of athletes are superstitious. Like you were saying, like do the same thing. Obviously, it sounds like it's a little difficult with rugby because you're 3 games a day. Um, but yeah, would you say you're a superstitious person or not really?
No way. The only not at all. Like I have no routine. It's like the only thing I probably should though, because sometimes I feel like I definitely should have a routine though, because there's some warm-ups where I'm like less focused than other times. And I'm like, I can't pinpoint why because I don't have a routine. So it's like I feel like I can be more in control if I do have a routine.
Yeah,
Um,
For
so
sure. I agree with
yeah.
you. Yeah.
So like if I need to be like probably locked in at a certain time period with my headphones on at a certain time so that I can just yeah, I'm working on it. I'm still trying to figure out what my routine is. I know that I like listening to hype music while I'm getting ready and like right before we're about to do our whole process as a team. So that's kind of my process so far right now. And I think that's been working. So I'm going to
yeah.
stick to that.
What are you
Good.
listening to in the headphones before?
Oh man, like all type music, like Gorilla and anything that's like rap, like hard rap, anything that's just like channels your inner demon.
Yeah,
For sure. Well, we'll check back in like a year and be like, where are you at in your pregame?
Mm-hmm.
You heard
Yeah.
it here. You heard it here first. Something you're working on. So
Yeah.
your fiance also, do you want to tell our listeners a little bit about him and what he does?
Yeah, so he's a para athlete. He is in the T12 division, which is for visually impaired athletes. He's not completely blind. T11 is like completely blind, and then T12 is in the middle, and then T13 is like you can see the best. Um, so he runs the 100 meter in the Olympics. He ran the 100, the 4, and the 4x1, but he doesn't run the 400 often because it's super painful.
Oh, it's the
And
worst.
yeah, it's
The
brutal.
worst. We both run, so it's the worst.
Yes. So the 100 meter is like his main event. And he got gold in Paris last year, silver in the 400, and bronze in the 4x1. Yeah. So he got the whole collection this past Olympics, which was really cool. And
So
then,
cool.
yeah, so then this is his meet in Nationals, Oregon, one of the big ones where I think this is the first time that para and able bodies are coming together at this like a meet this big. So it's a pretty exciting thing.
That's so
Yeah.
cool. Do you guys lean on each other? I know you have a podcast
Mhm.
together, but do you lean on each other for, your sports from the mental side too? And I mean, I imagine you do
Mhm.
lean into each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Mental, physical, like he's really helpful and motivational because we lose a lot of games like we do, and he's just always has like positive words. He's like pointing out the positive things that I did and also telling me the things I need to work on. And the same for him with his race. Like we're not. I like that we don't just tell each other like you did good, blah blah blah. Like we actually help each other on what we can work on. Um, Obviously we're both like really hard on ourselves. He's pretty hard on himself about like his times. If he runs like a time he didn't want to run, but it's still like a good time, it's like hard trying to convince him that he did well still. But yeah, like we kind of just give each other like honest feedback, not just what we want to hear, but like honest feedback to make each other better.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah. And I'm sure you both understand what the other person's going through when it comes to pressure and competing at that level. So that too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice that we were both he wasn't at my Olympics, but I was able to be at his Olympics, and like he had a lot going on at that time, and it was just nice to like be there for him physically instead of like having to text him from across the world. So
For
that was
sure.
like, I'm really excited for LA for that, for us to like be able to be there for each other.
That's cool.
Yeah, I have a question that we ask all of our athletes that come on. I'm always intrigued to hear what they have to say for this one. But how would you define mental toughness if you had to give a definition to it?
Mental toughness is your ability to focus through any hardship, adversity, pain, anything.
Yeah,
That's what it means to
it's
me.
a good definition.
That's a good one. That's a good
Yeah.
one. We have a montage of all of our guests and their answers, and it's so fun to hear because there's no wrong answer, and everybody has their own experience with mental toughness. But I love that answer. Also, do you have a mantra, like a sports mantra, that you use ever?
Yeah, I don't think I do. I have things that I say to myself, like I'll say like, you got this, just encouraging words. Or like, I do say to myself, lock in a lot, or like focus so that I can remember. So it's probably
One of those.
Yeah.
Those are both
Wow,
good.
that counts. Lock in.
Yeah, that counts.
Yeah.
That's your mantra. Wait, I want to go back really quick before we wrap up. So you were in wrestling too. I was just thinking back to your past, right? So interesting, like cheerleading, wrestling, like just all over. So did your parents do you have siblings? Like, was this sort of the culture growing up in your family, was like, go do anything, like you can do anything?
Definitely. Yeah. Like, I wouldn't say like they encouraged me to try different sports, because I did that on my own. Like I would just like do whatever was available to me. Like if I had free time, I was looking for another sport to do. And that's just, that just came from like me. But my dad was always like, do whatever you want. Like he didn't care that I wrestled. They just supported me through it all. Like my mom would come to my wrestling tournaments. They're just kind of like, kind of seeing what I was going to do next, pretty much. So like they're just showing up and supporting me. And then like, oh, Ari wants to try football. All right, we're going to help her try football. We're going to support her through trying football.
I love
Like,
it.
yeah, just doing anything. Like they didn't really have a direction that they wanted me to go in. They just were happy that I was trying things.
Yeah. I mean, for you to wrestle against only boys, I mean, there's a mindset there that you probably didn't even know you had, right? I mean, that's unusual.
It's super tough. Like, I mean, I actually didn't think much about it because we were in middle school. So I felt like all the boys were still like small and like squishy. And then I really got to like 9th grade and I had to wrestle a 9th grade boy. And he was so strong and like not squishy at all. And I quit after that. He he took me down in like literally less than a minute. And yeah, I was like, yep, that's it for me. So
so impressive.
So what's your trajectory now? For, is there another Olympics potentially for you? And where are you at?
For sure. Yeah. Well, I'm training for LA 2028 right now.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that'll be my 3rd games. I'm pretty sure it'd be my last one. Like rugby is a lot on the body. But yeah, I want to say I don't know, but I also feel like 2028 might be my last games.
Yeah, good. Make a run. Owen, do you have any last questions before we let her go?
No, I think that's all. That was really fun talking to you.
It's so fun.
You guys
too. We'll be following you for sure in the 2028. So, and are you known for like your speed? Is that your thing? Like,
yes.
Okay. That's what I thought. You're like, yep. Okay. Well, good. Well, thanks for coming on. And sharing with our listeners, all about the mental side and being so vulnerable, authentic with us around. Yeah, we really appreciate it. So thanks again. And please listen to the next episode of Next Play to talk to athletes, just like Ari. Is that what people call you for short?
Yeah.
I love that. That's so cool. Just like Ari. Also check us out online at www.puresportsmindset.com or on our handle at Pure Sports Mindset on Instagram. Thanks again, and we appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.